This is your video cast for the week of January 6th, and it is officially Wild West Shootout Week as the DirtOnDirt.com crew, virtually all of us, head west. And I used to sit here and say this week, well, this is the kickoff to the season. This is spring training. This is when guys go to shake everything down. It's a loose feeling out west, but I can't really say that anymore. We've already been racing out west this past weekend as the World of Outlaws had their season opener at Vato Raceway Park in New Mexico. 3 nights of racing that we're coming off of here. Normally, the Wild West Shootout is sort of the kickoff to the season. Hell, we've had points races for the Outlaws already. And Chris Madden, Ricky Weiss, and Cade Dillard get wins. I'm going to bring in, how about this today, too, guys, for those watching? Derek Kessinger here in the turn seat. Suave, let's see you right now. Look at this. I mean, what do you always say about turn? How hard is it for turn? What is turn doing when he's over there?
He's beep, bop, boop, pressing buttons, but he gave me a crash course lesson last week, so hopefully I don't mess this up, but I'm very excited to be in Turn's shoes today.
Yeah, turn shoes, turn seat, whatever you want. So Derek and I are going to, before we get to, we have Chase Junghans coming up to talk Wild West Shootout in his 3 races in Vato, and Ben Shelton, of course, to talk about Arizona as well. All that, but I wanted to kick some Vato stuff around first. Derek, no surprise to me, the Dryden boys, the Bloomquist boys, Madden and Weiss get a win the first night. Then that Cade Dillard, throw that pass up there from last night. This is Brandon Shepard. By the way, this place races like Magnolia. I don't care what anybody says. It's a good racetrack. This is on a restart. How does Brandon Shepard get beat on a restart? No offense to Cade Dillard. By Cade Dillard when Sheppy's on the top. Derek, Sheppy's your boy here. How does this happen? How does Cade Dillard get by Brandon Shepard late in this race?
Kudos to Cade Dillard winning his first ever World of Outlaws race. $15,000 richer, but yeah, Shepard's cut after that one. I don't know what he's doing there. But
I think Brandon may have made a mistake, but Cade Dillard drove the race of his life. And I want to hear Ben say this later, but I do think this place races like Magnolia. When that top gets cooking like it was, I thought I had a lot of Magnolia qualities. It's very rare we go to a place where no video or anything exists of. I thought Vato showed out pretty well over the course of 3 days.
Yeah, it was a great race, and I thought the track improved throughout the entire weekend. I thought Sunday's racing was phenomenal. They were throwing sliders back and forth. Right here, you see Ricky Weiss win his first ever Outlaw win, and I think he got like 30 seconds last year, so kudos to him.
A couple other things that stood out to me this weekend. I think we all knew going into the Outlaws points season that it was going to be this battle between the Bloomquist cars, Madden, Bloomquist, and Ricky Weiss, and Brandon Shepard, and that flushed itself out. Madden and Weiss getting wins, and Shepard was in second all 3 nights, which is kind of crazy. Anything else out there, Derek, that kind of stood out to you or surprised you? Because other than, we'll talk about the vibe of the event a little bit, I think it played out sort of exactly like I thought it was going to play out. The Bloomquist cars and the Rocket cars, and that's what we're going to see this season.
Yeah, and kudos to Ashton Winger. He was going to a top 5 run last night, got in a little tangle there, so I think he's going to have a pretty solid year, and no doubt he's full of confidence. But, yeah, the Bloomquist cars versus Shepard, you got Chase Junghans and all the other guys, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I thought the racing was pretty solid.
And also, Scott Bloomquist, Kevin Kovac has a really good story about Bloomer. We'll get to the Ice Bowl here. You see Michael Page in a second. You can leave this up with Michael Page, Derek. Bloomquist having the hip replacement this week sometime. Says he'll be back for Volusia. I am interested to see. How about the Ice Bowl, Derek? Michael Page, as you saw there, 4 Ice Bowl wins in a row. I don't think that's ever been done. I'd have to go back and look at the history page to see. Michael Page is automatic. It's death taxes Page winning the Ice Bowl. Does anything surprise you about that 18 car rolling into Talladega Short Track and winning this race now?
No, he's always good in the Southeast. It's Talladega and Dixie and Rome. Michael Page, it doesn't matter who's in town, he's going to put on a clinic, and he's starting his 2020 season for a guy who's maybe going to retire, wins the first race in 2020, so I don't know about that.
I forgot about that. Michael Page had said, I think, was it PRI? He had said he was maybe going to retire.
I think it was before that.
It might have been before that. World Finals or somewhere, Page had
made World Finals.
Yeah, Page had made the comment, I think I might be done for the year. Done forever, excuse me. Maybe just 1 or 2 races. And what does he do, Derek? It's like January 5th, and the guy goes out and wins a race. So I thought that was good. A couple other Vato notes I wanted to touch on. They got fortunate with the weather. It can be very cold. It was cold at night. It was in the 30s out there. It can snow. Chase Junghans, who will be on in a second, will tell you can drive through that part of New Mexico and go through a snowstorm on your way to the Wild West Shootout. So they got lucky this year. The weather was better. Crowds looked okay, I thought, Derek. Not great looking at the live stream stuff. I don't have exact numbers. It's funny, you go to a place like that and nobody there, somebody said it best to me. They said when Bloomquist was introduced, nobody booed or nobody cheered. And sometimes you get that at a race like New Mexico, don't you, Derek? The fans, they're just happy the Outlaws are there. They don't really have a global concept of Scott Bloomquist.
Well, maybe after this weekend they'll boo maybe Scott Blomqvist next year. But I think for an event, in that part of the country, they're not maybe used to the late model brand that we're used to here in the Midwest and other parts of the nation. But it was a pretty good weekend, and I thought the shows went efficiently well. They were done pretty early,
Yeah.
and kudos to that track crew and the World of Outlaw staff.
That is your third kudos early in this video cast, by the way. I'm
Sorry.
keeping a kudos count. 3 kudos for Derek so far.
That's my last one.
That's your last one? You promise no more kudos?
Yeah, shout out now.
Derek's handling kudos. Don't forget the Wild West Shootout starts this coming weekend at Arizona, one of our favorite events to cover. This is our 8th straight year. There it is, Derek. We will be live from the Wild West Shootout. It's been an amazing relationship with Chris Kearns and everybody out there. It's one of our favorite events to cover. Every camera angle you could want, pit reporters, the drones, all the typical highlights that we have every night, every square inch. Dustin and Ben and Derek and the social media team, everybody will be out there covering the ever-loving hell out of the Wild West Shootout. That starts with practice Friday that you can see free a little bit on DOD, and then Saturday and Sunday, the Wild West Shootout kicks off this weekend live right here at dirtondirt.com. Coming up, we have Chase Junghans and Ben Shelton to talk the early season, the very early season, and the WWS. Suave, by the way, did you ever consider Chase for your podcast, or was that Turbo only? Because Chase is funny, he's interesting. Could he slide job Turbo for your co-host ever?
I would have him as a guest. I know that Turbo wants to do Chase, but I think we need to do it like in a outside scene. We get a couple drinks in him, then he'll loosen up a little bit. But yeah, Chase Junghans has great stories. He's been racing for a long time. He'll definitely be on the podcast.
He's had a good, interesting weekend at Vato, I should say. I think the team may have had a little fun last night. So let's go ahead and bring him in now. On the Integra Shocks and Springs hotline is a guy fresh off a 14th, a 9th, and a 13th. Maybe not the way he wanted to start his season. Manhattan, Kansas driver Chase Junghans. Chase, let's talk about New Mexico first. Give me a letter grade for your team. You're coming out of New Mexico. What is the Chase Junghans letter grade for Vato to start the year?
D-.
D is in dog, right?
Yeah.
What happened? What did not go right?
Oh, we were fast at the beginning of the night, and then we just couldn't ever put a full night together. It's hard to get going out here, I guess, on those tires and stuff, but I was hard charger, was it Saturday night?
Saturday, yep.
And then last night, we had to use a provisional, got messed up in the heat race and hit the fence. But, no, I mean, last night was really fun, just bringing the top and stuff like that. But, no, we're just off a little bit on our car. We got a little work to do out here, so that's the good thing about it. We get to go to Arizona, and we got 6 days to tune on this thing for Speed Week. So I think if you guys noticed last year, a lot of the guys that raced out here went down to Speed Weeks and were pretty on key when we got down there to Florida.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. We'll talk about that in a second. But overall, what did you make of Vato? Listen, none of us know what to expect, right? They had the big mod race that Cade Dillard also won. But obviously the facility's gorgeous. We know Royal's going to do that. But overall, I kind of thought it had a Magnolia vibe to it. And the racing was pretty good, I thought.
Oh, yeah, it got slicker than snot every night, it seemed like, and you're sliding around and stuff, and we're all trying to get stuck. But, no, it raced good, I thought. The first night was a little shaky, but like Derek said, every night the track got better and it progressed. And I think for the first ever event with us, I think it was a success.
Let's focus on Arizona for a second. Here's one thing that I love about you at Arizona. You get it. You get that you're out there, and you just mentioned this. You're shaking your stuff down. You get that it's also a racing vacation. You get the general idea of everything that the Wild West Shootout is. I just discuss that a little bit. You sort of lean in to the Wild West Shootout. Some guys are like, oh, it's too far, it's too whatever. But you get it for what it's worth. We're going to be better going to Florida because we raced out here. And we like the off days. We like the stuff to do in Phoenix. You don't get that combination very often, do you?
No, and a lot of guys like coming out here just because, one, we're in the desert, and then get off days. Like, I was looking at my Speed Week schedule, and you looked at that, it's almost like we're doing a hell tour. So, now a lot of people like coming out here and they try to get away from the snow, and normally the weather's nice. I looked at this forecast, and it looks a little cooler than normal, but I think during the day you're going to see 65-degree weather, so I can't complain when it's snowing back home or if it's blowing crap, so.
I think you hit on one of the good points to me, and this is something I think the team at the Wild West Shootout has been marketing. It's no secret. I say it all the time, from Mike Marlar to Brandon Shepard to Bobby Pierce. You go to Arizona, your seasons just end up being better. I could very easily flush that out statistically the last 4 or 5 years. Discuss that, being able to go out there and what it does for you as you go to Florida in February and you're not racing for points in Arizona. Just how much of an advantage is it to a driver to get started out west?
I think it's a big advantage. I mean, one, you're not stressing about points racing and stuff. And then, two, you just get to fine-tune on your car, and you get to look at your notebook, what you did last year, and kind of see what worked this year. Because I feel like our setup's always changed, but if you talk to Mark, his stuff stays normal, and he's always fast, so maybe we're changing too much stuff. But, no, I mean, just coming out here and getting anytime you're behind the wheel for 6 more nights than the guy that's shown up to Florida for the first time, I think you got an advantage. So no different than, it's just like practice. So more practice, the better you are, I think.
Suave, I know you got some questions for Chase too. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chase, of course, there's not much pressure because it's no point racing. Obviously, you want to race, but how fun are the off nights when you can hang out with the boys, hang out with me? And that's like one of the best experiences of Arizona. You're not racing every day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anytime you're going to go play Topgolf with you, I think it's a win-win. So, we get to have a couple cold ones and enjoy the views. But, no, I mean, I enjoy it. It's always fun. You get at least 2 days, and they spread it out to where you get a day or two to go around, go play golf, go to Barrett Jackson, whatever you want to do. So, I think it's a lot funner, too, that it's in Phoenix just because there's a lot more stuff to do there than Tucson, even though Tucson has some good places, too. But I wish we could go to more tracks out here and just make a swing out of it. I think it'd be pretty cool, but maybe it'll happen in the near future.
And also, this is our 4th year, at Arizona. And how much better has the racing gone? I think they've improved it year in and year out.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely good. I mean, there was a lot of, as you would say, showcases last year out here, and I think a lot of people, are they still doing the $250,000 deal?
Yes, the bonus. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I mean, you still got to put that into the factor. Someone can come out here and win a bunch of money, too, so hopefully it's me, but that's the plan, but we'll see. I mean, I think there'll be some heads turned this year probably. Especially with Cade, he's really good on these 55s, and Ricky's been really good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one of us win a couple nights, hopefully.
Chase, I'll ask it. Last thing. What may have seemed crazy 4, 5, 6 years ago, and maybe it's still not there yet, but the fields in Florida and the fields in Arizona, they seem like they're getting closer to me. Whereas once it was pretty far apart, I think they're a little closer. Maybe not Volusia at its peak, but what do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many good cars now. It's crazy. And if you go look at qualifying and stuff, I mean, if you're 10th off, you go from 2nd to 13th, you know what I mean? And that's one good thing about out here is we all get to qualify, so you kind of get to pick your fate. I mean, if you're good, you get to start up front. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good cars, and I think the playing field's even, so should be an exciting next week and a half.
All right, but I know you guys got some trailer hitch work to do, and Vinny and the team have all sorts of stuff to do. You headed all the way to Phoenix today. We're taping this on Monday. You headed all the way over there today?
Well, they're working on our trailer today. We were going to go play some golf hopefully here this afternoon, and then hopefully that thing's done, and then we're going to head further west either later this evening or first thing in the morning.
All right, buddy. You guys be good. Be safe. We'll see you out there this week, okay?
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Chase. From the tallest person, arguably, in late model racing to the not as tall of a person in late model racing. It's Ben Shelton. Ben, what are the headlines for Arizona this year? Give me the 10,000-foot view as you join us on the Integra Shocks and Springs hotline. What does the general public need to know about the Wild West Shootout?
Apparently, they need to know a lot because my emails and phone have been on fire. It's Monday, as you just said,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of interest. But no, it's the Wild West Shootout, so anything's possible. But one thing is for sure: there's going to be no shortage of action. Last year, we had 170 drivers in at least one event between the three divisions, not just in one. But this included racers from 20 states and 2 Canadian provinces. So this thing is a gathering every year. When you think you can't outdo the previous year, somehow you do it. And I know we're going to talk more about it later, but obviously the Kaiser $250,000. Last year, Pierce tasted the possibilities of what that has to offer. And can he devour the entire entree this year? I think a lot of people are watching that.
The New Mexico effect. We talked about Vato a little bit at the beginning of the video cast. What is it? I think it helps the event some. It's going to bring some guys to West that maybe wouldn't have come before. I think it might hurt it some. Mike Marlar's headed home now because he just didn't like how he was at Vato, and he was planning on coming to the Wild West Shootout. I can make a case for both New Mexico hurting and helping the Wild West Shootout. What are your thoughts?
My opinion is everybody loves something new, and I don't care if it's racing or anything. They love something new. So my gut feeling is this first year, maybe the New Mexico effect, it hurts us a little more than it helps us because honestly, it steals a little bit of our thunder because it was brand new. However, if they can get their feet under them down there, I think in future years, these two events will only help each other that much more. And it provides an incentive for more drivers to make the long tow out west with more races and more money. Both of these are great events that stand strong on their own, but if they can work in tandem in future years, they could definitely create a bit of a pre-Speed Weeks, Western Speed Weeks, if you will.
That's kind of what I think, too. It's almost like Western Speed Weeks. And I think now with the Outlaws not going to Screven, of course, Lucas is starting the 31st at Golden Isle, so that kind of, you got to get home. But I think the field, to me, looks as strong as it's been the past few years, at least close to being equal. We have no Scott Bloomquist this year. He won't be driving on the highway. We've lost that piece. But you and I talk about how this thing could yo-yo, right? You're going to get a good field, a bad field, a good field, a bad field. I think all the efforts that yourself and Chris Kearns and everybody else have done, I think it's sort of stabilized now where this field's just good every year, right? I think we're in that good zone again.
Every year the field is going to have a different feel. And that's just one thing we've come to learn about this event. It's a long freaking way out there. That's just the reality. So, and now with the scheduling conflicts, there's parts of our sport that have decided we're going to race 13 months a year. So, that affects some guys that might go out there that might not otherwise race until March. Well, now they're racing the week before they go out there and the week after. So now you see some guys that are only coming every other year or so. Conversely, we got some guys, man, they're locked to come every year. But, you look at this field this year, and you got names like Shepard, Pierce, Shirley, Dillard, Weiss, Junghans, Simpson, Berghofer. Yes, Berkey's coming.
Mars, maybe
Pierce
Rick
Jr.,
Eckert,
Mars.
right?
Yeah, we're going to probably see Eckert at least one, maybe at least a couple of nights, maybe more. And you throw in like Spatola, and then the mainstays like Phillips and Shaw. I think Frankie's coming this year. Heckiness. The list goes on and on. If that doesn't get you pumped, is this event ever going to have a World 100 field? No, we're in Arizona. We're always going to be in that anywhere from 40 to high 50s range. But man, there is a lot of diversity in this field, and it gets me excited, especially after seeing guys like Dillard and Weiss come out with guns blazing, get their first Outlaws win over the weekend.
Someone always surprises in Arizona, right? Every year we get the Don Shaw that wins a couple, Cade Dillard last year, and of course Cade Dillard's name is firmly cemented in national late model history now with the race at Vato last night. Ricky Weiss back in the day, his first kind of coming out party was the Wild West Shootout. There's always somebody. Who is it this year? 1, 2, 3 names, Benji. Who's one of those guys out there that, he's the Wild West Shootout guy this year? Who is it?
Well, since they're twins, if I pick Stormy and Johnny, Scott, does that only count as one pick? Because I'd like to do that in my favor.
I'll give them both to you.
Jokes aside, I know these guys have got to be a little down because they didn't have the Vato, the race that they wanted. They've had success in the mods and the stock, and even the stock cars. Johnny Scott won a stock car race there late last year. But I still think that even though they battled last week, I think they're going to be two drivers to watch at the Wild West Shootout. They got things into gear late last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see either one in victory lane. Clearly, they've won in the mods, and I believe Johnny won the mod points championship a few years ago. You kind of upstaged me with your interview a little while ago, and I know he just rated himself as a D-. But Chase Junghans is a guy that I've got on my radar. He just came off his most consistent year ever last year, and he's got better and better at the Wild West Shootout over the past few years. And let's be honest, I think he and that team have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder to start this year because there's other guys on that World of Outlaws tour that are getting a lot of the focus of the press and things like that. I feel like they want to come out and prove something. I can easily see him in victory lane for the first time in a Wild West Shootout event this year. And last but not least, let's not sleep on Ryan Gustin. How about the Reaper coming back to town? He stormed back onto the super late model scene late last year after having a really good year in the modified. And he even went to victory lane during the Fall Nationals there at Lucas Oil Speedway with MLRA. I think he's going to be a factor in the desert. I know that they are really geared up to bring that 19R into action.
We did have somebody claim one of those bonuses, like you said, Bobby Pierce last year. Everyone said, oh, nobody's ever won the bonus. Bobby won 3, so we got 10 grand extra last year. Will it happen again? Is somebody going to get 3, maybe 4, 5, unforeseen 6? Can it happen? Will somebody win 3? What are your Kaiser Manufacturing $250,000 bonus thoughts this year?
Well, since I think he went 3 for 87 last year on his block of the week. Slav, I'm helping you, buddy. Listen right now. It will happen again this year. Mark it down. Pierce is obviously an odds-on favorite to make it happen. But White starts the year with more momentum than he's ever had. And let's face it, the past few years, he's been really fast at FK Rod-Ins Arizona Speedway. To me, the big question is how big of a bonus can be won. You go back to last year, mechanical failures knocked Pierce out of possibly 2 more wins.
Yeah.
2 more wins, that $10,000 bonus becomes a $100,000 bonus. So, you start looking at that, the difference in 3 and 5. I think the question is, there's going to be a bonus 1 this year. How big can it go? How hot can one driver get, and how much money can they leave with?
I'm watching this. I forgot how good that Pierce Bloomquist finish is. Derek was rolling those highlights near. Was that the first night?
And he even called us out on Twitter because we forgot to put it in the best finishes. But that was so long ago, Bobby. I'm sorry.
Remind me again, who edits the finishes of the year? Okay, right, Derek. It
was a team effort, though.
It was a team effort. Clean that Wild Boy.
Derek, I'm going to bail you out because let's remember I called the win wrong on that because I forgot that Pierce's transponder quit working, so it showed the 0 first on the race monitor. No, it was the 32. So there were all kinds of debacles. And also, I got to tell you guys, Cade Dillard, Rigsby, Kessinger, you better look out. Cade Dillard a little upset he didn't make moments of the year last year after that emotional win that he had during the Wild
And
West
he mentioned
Shootout.
this to you, Ben? He called us out specifically?
He texted me the day it came out, and he goes, I just can't believe we didn't get
Well, I'll
it
tell you what, after his emotional win at Vato, Cade, it's going to take 5 a lot bigger moments. That Vato win last night has got to go in moments for 2020, I think. Cade, I promise you, unless there's 5 other really good ones.
Yeah, unless there's 5 bloomer moments, you never know.
Ben, clean out that Wild West Shootout notebook for me. I know, like the mods, we're going to have a hell of a mod field again. I'll let you go, but just kind of clean out that Wild West Shootout notebook for me before we get going here.
Yeah, something I'd be remiss that I left out earlier, and I want to mention this again. And you asked about the event, the top line. 6 days of racing, 6 complete events for super late models, modifieds, and X mods. And there's over $200,000 in purse money on the line, and that doesn't even include the bonuses. You throw that in, and in a 6-race series, there could possibly be over or close to $500,000 paid out, which is a lot to think about as we get ready for the second week of January. Again, not to beat a dead horse, but it's all about how eclectic the fields are. You're going to have drivers from all across North America, United States and Canada lining up alongside one another for likely the only time in 2020 for a lot of them. And the mods and the X mods, we cannot sleep on those fields. On the modified side of things, you got names like Rodney Sanders. That dude just won 3 races in a row against a really talented field of mods at Vato. You got Ricky Thornton Jr., Dave Kane's making the trip down this year. Steve Muhlenberg, the veteran, Matt Lear, Tanner Mullins coming for the first time. Dustin Jarrett better be concerned because Dustin joked last year if Tanner came from Kansas, he would pay his fuel bill. I think Tanner believed him, so get the credit cards ready. Last year in the mods, we saw 5 different winners, and that could easily happen again this year. And this X mod field, I'm going to tell you right now, don't make this your nacho break when you're watching the broadcast. Cole Sewing's been dominant the past few years, but I think drivers are tired of hearing about it because this year, as good as that field's been in the past, he's going to have a formidable challenge this year. We got guys coming for the first time like Chris Jackson, Mike Striegel, the Missouri racers, coming out as well. I think Josh Kane's going to do double duty between the mods and the X mods. Lance Schill, the North Dakota standout. You got Brock Gronwald coming from the north. Brian Cackle is back in the house. You got the Hauglins and a lot more. And I know, Michael, Derek, you hear me talk about it every year. The mod field gets tougher and tougher. Well, guess what? You're going to hear about it again because this mod and this X mod field just keep getting better and better. And I don't know that there is a headliner this weekend. I think all three divisions, they carry their weight. And if you're a racing fan, you're going to like everything that you see about 6 races in 9 days at the Kaiser Manufacturing Wild West Shootout.
Could there be a better salesman for the event, Derek? How about that?
No kidding, but I'm gonna ask you.
I'm ready to run through a brick wall
Mod
for the
Nation,
X-Mod
let's go,
field.
baby.
I'm ready.
But I got to ask you, Ben, you're not going to jinx a modified driver this year, are you?
That was brutal. The all-timer.
I'm not jinxing a modified driver. Shout out to Amber Crouch from your home state of Illinois. She reshared from not this year, this past year's dome, 2 years ago, where I jinxed her in a C main. So I'm the announcer's jinx. I'm going to let Ruben Morales, or I'm going to let Dustin Jarrett. They're going to do the jinxes, but I'm not going to say he can coast from here because it turns out he indeed cannot.
Anything else for Benji Suave?
No, he's perfect. I'm ready for mods now.
All right, I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Ben, thank you very much. I will see you. Will I see you Thursday or Friday, Ben?
It'll be Thursday, sir.
Okay. All right. I can't keep track of your comings and goings these days, so I needed a heads up. But I will plan on seeing you Thursday, Wild West Shootout. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
So I'll throw that graphic up there one more time. We are live from the Wild West Shootout every night, all 6 nights, the 11th and 12th, the 15th. Someone's birthday is January 15th as well, Derek. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, 2 more years until the roast.
17th is mine. 38th this year on January 15th. And the 17th, 18th, and 19th, we are putting a lot of work and a lot of effort into this production. Turn and the boys head west tomorrow, Tuesday morning. But don't forget, every single lap live at dirtondirt.com is part of our pay-per-view broadcast. Derek, final Wild West Shootout thought. Give me something provocative.
Putt starts Thursday. Of course, everybody sees it. No, I'm just kidding, but I'm always looking forward to this event. It gets better and better every year, and like Ben said, the field is still going to be pretty solid, pretty great, and I want to see somebody win $250,000 this year. Let's see a driver win all 6 races.
I think so, too. I think somebody's going to get some bonus money this year. Maybe only 3, but I actually think it's going to be Ricky Weiss. I think Ricky Weiss is going to win 3 of these races and then spread out amongst the other 3. Don't forget, we are live starting Friday night for practice. A little bit on Dirt, a little bit on Facebook, and then Saturday, Sunday, first 2 nights of the Wild West Shootout live. Thank you, Suave, for sitting in for turn, and we will see you out in the desert. Thanks, guys.